severe on everyone you meet. They come on the street, they give their lives. We are the people.
Ladies and gentlemen, feds and degenerates, Epstein clients of all ages, it's time for Mild's Culture Plate. I am your host, Mild Kevin Miles, and it is Saturday, July 12th, 2025, and we're going to go ahead and get into this. First off, show notes. I'm live 3 hours early. I know I ended my last stream telling everyone to be here at 6 Central. 4 Eastern, and yeah, here we are. We're 3 hours early because I decided, look, it's a Saturday night. There's shit going on in the big city. I'm you know, I'm a little free tonight, and so I'm going to go out and have a little bit of a good time this evening. So I decided to go ahead and drop my stream early. So if you folks are popping in at 6 p.m. looking for me and you happen to find this, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to leave y'all hanging at 6 p.m., but catch this on demand, watch it through, and come on back Wednesday, 6 p.m. Central for the normal show. And so we got Third Railify in the chat over on Rumble. Cheers and welcome, friend. Good seeing you. Good seeing you. And damn it, I keep meaning to update my... There's all kinds of work I need to do.
It's a damn shame.
There's all kinds of work I need to do to my Rumble studio. I think I might take care of some of that tomorrow. All right, so let's start off by talking about the obvious, the thing everybody's been talking about all damn week, and that's the Epstein stuff and the shenanigans and drama between the FBI and DOJ. And I'm sure if you're here, you've probably already heard there was a whole to do yesterday about whether or not Dan Bongino or Kash Patel were going to resign and demand that Pam Bondi be fired. Excuse me. That they're excuse me. That there was a rift between the FBI and the DOJ. Yeah, good to have you. Good to have you. What happened to my? There we go. There we go. And there were a bunch of people giving their opinions on it. A bunch of people standing up for Dan Bongino. I think it's a bunch of bullshit. I think they're all bullshitting. And look, I think overall Bongino might be a good guy, but fuck him. If he's not going to just come right out and tell the truth, I don't need his threats. And quite frankly, these are all threats via third party. He hasn't said a damn word. He just took a day off of work. So, make of that what you will. Kash Patel also, there was reports he was considering stepping down. Well, he's now come out on X today, this afternoon, and said the conspiracy theories just aren't true and never have been. It's an honor to serve the President of the United States, Donald Trump, and I'll continue to do so for as long as he calls on me. So there you have it. And of course, the comments are just roasting Kash Patel. We learned that he killed himself, and we learned that it's going to stay that way unless we also want to kill ourselves. FBI ends probe into Royal Jeffrey Epstein's links. Oh, really? Huh. So there you have that. I mean, it's a clown show. It's a clown show. And these kind of things reverberate throughout politics. And I'm just going to say, if you're not going to tell the truth, and it's obvious you're not telling the truth, no matter how many MAGA people want to whitewash this, want to give Bongino a pass, want to say, well, the president's got more important things to worry about. No, bullshit. Bullshit. This is one of the most important stories of our time. And we reach these key fucking moments in United States history. And I've seen it happen several times just since I've been involved in politics. We saw it with the Tea Parties. We saw it with Occupy Wall Street. We saw it with the Bernie Bros. We saw it with BLM and Antifa. What you see is a general groundswell support movement. And I'm talking about you, MAGA 2024. You see a grassroots movement take hold, go nationwide. Average Americans getting politically involved, getting together, and demanding real change from our establishment politicians and establishment media and banks and corporations. You go down the whole line. Education institutions, just any institution, right? You have real grassroots revolution happening at the ground level where people demand change from these big institutions, these big globalist oppressive structures. And what happens? They get infiltrated, right? They get infiltrated both directions, from the top down and the bottom up. With the Tea Party, it got infiltrated by the mainstream Republican Party. It got infiltrated by the mainstream media. Third Railify says it's obviously a cover up that's not at all surprising. There will be no changing it and no consequences for those doing it. It is what it is. Yeah. I mean, just like there was no consequences for the left wing when they basically handed the election to Hillary Clinton, even though Bernie Sanders obviously had more support, and then did it again to give Joe Biden the nomination. Ball washers of the conservative party, the cat turds of the world, those will pivot to their opinions sharply to conform to whatever the president says. Hang on. I'm going to address that. But let me get back to my point, because this is relevant to this. They get infiltrated from the top down, but they also get infiltrated from the bottom up. So what you wind up having, and it's the same characters on both sides. So what you wind up having is like the Tea Parties got hooked onto by the mainstream Republican Party and astroturfed. You had essentially moneyed interest pouring money into super PACs. Those super PACs were then funneling money to local organizers. Now, this also happened with Obama, so I'm not just pointing out the Tea Parties. The Obama campaign was also this, right? What you had was a blueprint put out by the Ron Paul campaign for how to crowdfund, how to have a grassroots movement. And then once Ron Paul did it, well, then the Obama voters had a blueprint for then how to astroturf that and create a top down. But then what you also have is you have the Antifas and the cat turds of the world, who appear to be just some average Joe somewhere getting in and creating havoc, right? You have these Antifa types that will show up at a Black Lives Matter or a transgender protest, and all of a sudden they're throwing bricks, they're spray painting shit. And look, I'm no friend to the LGBTQ weirdos, right? But I am a friend to the First Amendment. And I don't care what your cause is. I think you have a right to go out and protest. I think you have the right to go out and hold a rally, hold a march, hold whatever you need to hold, without having these astroturfed weirdos show up with spray paint and bricks, or having these kind of weirdos claim to be your average Joe behind a computer screen when you know cat turd and people like him receive their marching orders from someone else. Just like the Antifa types are not your average Joes just showing up and creating havoc. As it's been shown time and time again, these provocateurs, they show up, they already have bail money. Oftentimes they're bussed in white vans. You know, I hate to give legitimacy to a riot, but oftentimes, especially like the 2020 Black Lives Matter stuff, during the daytime, those were genuine marches of people who lived in those cities. Right around 4 or 5 o'clock p.m., that's when the white buses would show up and the guys in, well, I mean, everyone was wearing masks at the time, but that's because they were a leftist. But that's when the guys with the gas masks and the Molotov cocktails and bricks would start showing up to these big cities. And so, again, yeah, the ball washers and the cat turds of the world pivot their opinion sharply to whatever the president says. And I would say it's not even what the president says. I firmly believe now that the Donald Trump we've seen on the campaign trail is gone. We now have the establishment version of Donald Trump. Ne'er I say the globalist establishment version of Donald Trump. The No New Wars Donald Trump has given way to wars for Israel, and the justice Donald Trump has been given way to expedience Donald Trump. And I'm not saying he's not doing some good stuff with immigration, but I also am concerned about the heavy hand. Hey, we got Shorty 7081 on Rumble. Cheers and welcome. Good seeing you. Good seeing you. Oh, Mom's Mysteries and Mayhem. How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? Let's see. We go.
You are fake news.
And let's see. Cheers and welcome. How's it going? It's going pretty well. Like I said, I'm doing an early stream today so that I could get out of the house and have a good time. But anyway, so the conservative establishment comes together to do the cover up bullshit, to do the ball washing. Third Railify says that's Gina. Yes, hello, yeah. Yeah, I was catching you guys a little bit last night, and then I proceeded to fall asleep way too damn early because I was reading a book while I was listening. But yeah, the mainstream conservative Inc., they like to do the ball washing, which is weird because usually they're careful to only have other ball washers around when they're doing it. Yeah, we had this video go viral here of Tucker Carlson at a Turning Point USA event. I don't know if y'all have seen this clip yet, but it's relative to the Bongino Epstein stuff. So let's take a look into what Tucker Carlson had to say at a Turning Point USA Student Action Summit.
And I think the real answer is Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of Intel Services, probably not American. And we have every right to ask.
Oh my, congratulations, Third Railify. That is awesome. Was it Neurodivergent One who hooked you up? Man, Neurodivergent One has been quite a hero on this platform, man. He has definitely helped out a lot of smaller creators. In fact, my channel has grown hugely just in the last week because he got me one raid. I don't, it's crazy. It's crazy. So yeah, big shout out to Neurodivergent One. If you see this later, buddy, thanks a lot.
On whose behalf was he working? How does a guy go from being a math teacher at the Dalton School in the late 70s with no college?
Oh, and shout out to Viva Frey for being such a bro to do that too.
College degree to having multiple airplanes, a private island, and the largest residential house in Manhattan. Where did all the money come from? And no one has ever gotten to the bottom of that because no one has ever tried. And moreover, it's extremely obvious to anyone who watches that this guy had direct connections to a foreign government.
Wait. What? You're not going to say what I think you're about to say, are you, Tucker? You're getting a little close to the third rail of conservative politics there, bro. Now, Tucker says this on his own show all the time, but at a Turning Point USA event.
Say that foreign government is Israel because we have been somehow cowed
and listen to the crowd,
thinking that that's
listen
naughty.
To the crowd.
There is nothing wrong with saying that. There is nothing hateful about saying that. There's nothing anti-Semitic about saying. There's nothing even anti-Israel about saying that. I've spent my entire life pretty much in Washington, where I knew and loved a number of people, including one very close person who worked at CIA. That has never prohibited me from saying, I think the CIA has done some horrible things, murdered a bunch of people, participated in the murder of a sitting US president. It's got a whole trail of crimes. That doesn't make me a disloyal American. It doesn't make me anti-American in any sense. I was born here. My family's been here for hundreds of years. I love this country. That's why I live here. So criticizing the behavior of a government agency does not make you a hater. It makes you a free person.
He's got a big point there. Third I'd realize Charlie Kirk and Tucker Carlson have made Nick Fuentes irrelevant. Yeah, a little bit. Neuro is the mod god for sure. Yeah, man. I don't know how he does it, man. I swear there's got to be like 5 neurodivergent ones. Because he's everywhere at all times. Gotta love the guy. So yeah, literally mod god, because yeah, he's omnipresent and omniscient, man. Anyway, I gotta go back a couple seconds and remind myself what he
Does
said.
not make you a hater. It makes you a.
Oh yeah. Okay, so this is what he's saying is true about anything. Being able to take constructive criticism from someone you love or someone who loves you, even as a nation, is a very important skill. And so this notion that, well, I even try to push back sometimes when they say leftists hate America. Well, there are things they do that are anti-American. I just don't think they understand America. But what Tucker Carlson's trying to say here is, yes, our nation was built on insurrection and protest, right? Like our whole attitude toward government, like our whole Constitution, is the ability to criticize the government and be free to do so. So if anything, it's kind of like tough love, right? It's tough love. Just like you don't want to see your kid turn into a bastardization of what you raised him as. You don't want to see your nation turn into a bastardization of what you love about it. So you should be free to criticize it. Mom's Mystery Mayhem, Boston Tea Party here in my neck of the woods. Yep.
Free person. It makes you a citizen. You're allowed to do that because you're not a slave. You're a citizen. And you have a right to expect that your government will not act against your interests, and you have a right to demand that foreign governments not be allowed to act against your interest. That's not creepy. It shouldn't be forbidden.
Tucker's turning MAGA into
all of us have trained ourselves to believe
no
that you
kings
can't
protest.
say that somehow. That that's like too naughty and forbidden. And the effect of making that off limits has been to create a lot of resentment, and I'll say it, hate online, where people feel like they can't just say, like, what the hell is this? You have the former Israeli prime minister living in your house. You have had all this contact with the foreign government. Were you working on behalf of Mossad? Were you running a blackmail operation on behalf of foreign government? By the way, every single person in Washington, D.C. thinks that. I've never met anyone who doesn't think that. I don't know any of them that hate Israel.
And when you don't let that sentiment vent, right? When you don't accept that criticism out of love, then you do fester the hate. You do fester the racism. You do fester this situation where now if we can't have a conversation, now we have a divide. And so if I can't criticize Israel, and that goes on and on and on, and I see the people who I right now would typically refer to as, your average neighborhood Jewish man who done nothing wrong but try to, live his life in America and worship at his synagogue and, whatever. Like, when those people start doing the ball washing and the shilling and you're anti-Semitic if you take this position against the nation of Israel or critical of the nation of Israel. Well, you must be a racist. Well, that's what breeds the racism. That's what makes those people say, oh, okay, well, we clearly have a dividing line down our culture where we can't simply have a conversation about it. So it must be an us versus them thing. And that's how you breed the hatred, the racism. He's got a huge point here, and it can't be said enough that the ability to take criticism is one of the most important things for a society.
But no one feels they can say that. Why? And I think the longer that we play along with it, the more subterranean and creepy and hateful the conversation actually becomes. So I think it's better just to say it right out loud. Did this happen? And of course, that question has been asked to the government of Israel, and their answer is, we're not going to tell you. And I think our answer should be, no. As long as we're sending you money, if you were committing crimes on our soil, we have an absolute right to know, did you do this or not?
Yeah.
And yet everybody has been so brainwashed into thinking that's somehow an expression of hate or bigotry.
Look, I just want to say I'm also not a hypocrite on what I just said. Like, there are people all the time that say, white people do this, white people do that, white people like mayonnaise on their chicken and, you know, whatever. Oftentimes, like, I brush that off my shoulder and I'm like, look, for one, like, you ain't talking about me, because, like, I don't fit 90% of those weird white people stereotypes. But even the ones I do, I'm like, I take it in stride. But oftentimes, the white people stereotypes, you know, those are mostly either rich people or yuppies. And, you know, your average, you know, Midwestern or East Coast hard worker, you know, they don't typically do those types of things that are in those stereotypes. But every now and then you do have these Karens out there, and these people who just, you know, can't mind their own business. And hey, you know, I'm willing to take that stereotype and just put it on these upper middle class white women, right?
When it's not, it's a baseline question that every U.S. citizen has a right to an answer on. What the hell was this? And by the way, if it turns out that it was nothing.
Yeah, if it turns out it was nothing, then, you know, we should all apologize to those involved. But for now, the evidence is overwhelming. The evidence is overwhelming, and it's overwhelming from their own mouths. You know, but like Bondi saying, I've got them on my desk. You can't say stuff like that and then not produce later. And what I find interesting is I've seen people commenting all across the political spectrum on this. And this could unite a bunch of the right and a bunch of the left. It really could. For example, here's someone who I never thought I would agree with on anything.
We're going to tell you. We got books, we got all kinds, we got pictures, we got stuff. And now you're saying nothing happening here. Who? Jeffrey who?
Yeah.
We don't know who you're talking about. What is happening here?
I don't feel like we should be advertising that the Bureau of Prisons has 1 minute that is not accounted for in federal prisons.
Every single night
around 11:59. It's basically saying if you want to do your crimes, do it then.
You got 1 minute at this
crazy. Very sketchy. Listen, there are a lot of unanswered questions, and I said the same thing yesterday. I'll say it again. The people who are the heroes in the story first are victims who came forward, because that's incredibly hard to do when you've been sexually victimized by horrible, horrible men. And then the journalists who told these stories way before Jeffrey Epstein was a household name. You mentioned Julie K. Brown. She's won awards for this. She covered him before anyone knew who he was.
Years.
And she points out there are massive inconsistencies in this story. She says that the camera footage that was released by the Department of Justice, that's only one angle, that it does not show
Okay, we've
account
heard
for
this.
other
We've
angles.
heard this. I'm going
She
to
talks
jump
a
forward a
bad
little bit.
There's only to be the Bureau of Prisons, and you make for the Department of Justice. You work hand in hand when there's a guilty verdict with the Bureau of Prisons, and you make recommendations. The Bureau of Prisons used to be very, very regulated. I find it very
I'm agreeing with this creature
that there is a minute missing and that there's only one camera angle. I have been inside of the MDC. I've been inside of Rikers. There were cameras everywhere. So I find that the fact that there's missing documentation, that doesn't make sense. And the other thing, Trump saying, why are we still talking about Epstein? He talked about Epstein endlessly.
Well, that was my point.
Not to mention, I'm not saying that this indicates that Trump had any involvement in Epstein's crimes, But there are videos of Trump with Epstein. There are pictures with Trump with
Photographs.
Epstein. He was on flight logs of Epstein's plane, I think 7 times.
She had
All
to
of that
give
has
a
been
disclaimer.
widely reported, and
We
all
should
of a
start
sudden,
calling Sunny Hostin
he doesn't
Mrs.
want to talk about
Disclaimer.
Epstein, and his friend is a creep, or
Well,
his
that's my
colleague.
point. All right,
I don't know, not colleague. I don't know what to say.
He calls him a creep in this particular video. By the way, he seems very defensive to me in this particular thing. But besides that, in 2002, he told New York Magazine, Trump, I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy, he said. He's a lot of fun to be with. It's even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. Okay, that's Trump.
But
That's Trump in 2002. Today, he calls him a creep.
It's also
You
widely
guys do the math,
But no,
okay?
it is widely reported that he kicked
I
him out of
mean, leave it to the View to put a little Trump derangement and spin on everything.
Mar-a-Lago years after that. That's documented before he was in political life, before people had strong feelings about Donald
That's
Trump
why I don't want to call him a
politically.
friend or
So it's
colleague.
gotta
Maybe
be
they
careful.
had
when
a falling out.
when Donald Trump asked why do people still care about Epstein, there have been problems with pedophilia for years in different institutions. When you even watch The Keepers on Netflix, it was proven that it was men in power, doctors, police
I
officers.
can't believe
people
I'm
with
hearing
money,
this
people
on
in the
ABC
government
News
that were
or
part of it, which is
ABC.
why it was covered up, and these victims were double victimized and never found. So people like me care, not because I care who's on. I don't believe there's a list, but I don't care who it is. We need to uncover this abuse of power and this continued victimization of young people.
Now, like I said, I can't believe I'm hearing this on ABC because you might remember the initial story that broke was that ABC had suppressed, what was her name? I'm having a brain fart all of a sudden, but suppressed the initial reporting on Clinton's ties to Epstein, and that Virginia Giuffre and other victims had named Bill Clinton as one of the abusers. And so hearing ABC, put this out there is just outstanding to me. It means we've moved the needle. It means that as far as we still have to go as a culture, we have moved the needle. We have moved the Overton window. We have shown that at the very least, they have to lie to us in our own language and not theirs. They have to lie to us with the things we demand they talk about than to just ignore us. And that's huge. That's huge. Because I shouldn't be agreeing with The View. I shouldn't be agreeing with these damn women. These harpies who I've ranted about on this show for the past 4 years. I shouldn't be agreeing with this.
And I'd like to know, why am I paying federal taxes if they're not going to do anything, by the way? Is there anybody who can tell me that?
Yeah.
If they want the states to take care of everything, I'll pay state taxes and not federal taxes.
Yeah. Right.
Watch the IRS come after me now.
Why am I agreeing with these women? Why am I agreeing with these women? How? What fucking clown world upside down 1984 spin has the world done where I'm agreeing more with The View than I am with several MAGA people on X? Speaking of Donald Trump and the Trump administration and Trump derangement, tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary of the assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania. And Donald Trump sat down with Fox News. And let's take a little bit of a look at what he had to say about the events in Butler last year.
Well, it was unforgettable. I didn't know exactly what was going on. I got whacked. There's no question about that.
You got whacked? You didn't get whacked. You're still alive, bro. I mean, he misspoke. I'm not gonna tear him up for misspeaking. You got plinked. How about that? You got plinked. You didn't get whacked. You got plinked. Whacked implies you're dead, but you're not dead. So, or maybe you are dead. Maybe this is. You remember the whole Biden is an actor wearing a Biden face. Remember that whole conspiracy? Maybe we have a Trump actor wearing a Trump face, and maybe Trump actually got whacked. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right, so yeah, you got plinked in the ear. Keep going.
And fortunately got down quickly. And people were screaming, and I got down quickly, fortunately, because I think they shot 8 bullets.
Get
And
down.
one got me, and one got another one, and one got another one, and one killed Corey, the firefighter. Great guy. And, we had a tremendous, massive crowd. Tens of thousands of people were there. And our sniper, within less than 5 seconds, was able to get him from a long distance with one shot. If he didn't do that, you would have had an even worse situation.
All right. So there you have it.
It was unforgettable.
All right, there you have it. I mean, he's basically given a narrative. He's given a narrative, and as he should, as president of the United States. But I do have a problem with that. And the problem is, he did name drop firefighter Corey, right? He name dropped firefighter Corey. Bongino, Patel, Bondi, Trump, they all promised that when they got into office, we would know what happened that day in Butler. Now, this week we had suspensions of several people who were tied to the protection and investigation in the Secret Service and FBI. But suspensions don't answer the questions of the American people. Suspensions don't keep the current president protected and other protectees of the Secret Service protected. Punishment does. And while suspension is a form of punishment, the American people need to know what is actually happening. What occurred that day, and what has occurred since. But more importantly, the people who were shot that day and their loved ones. Not just Donald Trump, but the family of Corey Comparator.
I'm really right at the beginning where I was back a year ago. We really haven't healed that much. We have no answers. So, I miss them just like I did last year. I want to sit down with the Secret Service and I want them to tell me everything that happened that day. I want to know why they failed. I want to know what happened. Why Butler? Why was that such a failure that day? What was the reason? Why did he walk around for an hour without someone grabbing him? He was a wonderful
Who are the people on the other end of his phone?
He was just the best dad, he was the best husband. I mean, he was just a wonderful man. He would help anybody. He'd give you his last dollar. He would have helped that kid.
That's what's sad. As the firefighters are like that. I gave that family, what was that girlfriend who watched her boyfriend get stabbed by a guy on a park bench a couple years back. You don't pray or want to help out the person who murders you. But a firefighter is a different breed. They're down to help everyone. Kind of like doctors are supposed to take the oath, the do no harm, and treat everyone equally. Firefighters a lot of times feel the same way, and yeah, man, shout out and prayers to the family of Corey Comparator. And man, this has got to be a rough time for them. But again, it's not all cover-ups and bullshit with the Trump administration. Trump is now granted total authorization to ICE agents to protect themselves after the violent California clashes. President Donald Trump said Friday he's given immigration agents total authorization to protect themselves after clashes with protesters during an enforcement operation at a California cannabis farm. Trump was traveling from Washington to Texas, where he toured the region with devastated floods, left 120 people dead, and pinned a lengthy post on Truth Social about the violence against ICE agents. I'm on my way back from Texas and watched in disbelief as thugs were violently throwing rocks and bricks at ICE officers while they're moving down a roadway in their car and or official vehicle, he wrote. Tremendous damage was done to these brand new vehicles. I know for a fact these officers are having a hard time with allowing this to happen, and that it shows total disrespect for law and order. Federal authorities conducted raids on Glass House Farms families in Camarillo and Carpinteria. Authorities used tear gas. There were reports of objects being thrown at agents. Is this a video?
We begin with Matt Finn. He's live with more on the growing violence against ICE. Matt, good evening.
Trace, good evening. Two federal sources tell Fox tonight that hundreds of people have been taken into custody during an hours-long immigration sweep at two farming locations in Carpinteria and Camarillo, California. Tear gas and smoke bombs were launched into the crowds of protesters, clashing with immigration agents. Some people were transported to the hospital. Others were taken into custody for interfering with federal officers. Protesters could be seen throwing rocks at this black SUV. And tonight, sources tell Fox the feds are investigating the possibility of an active shooter at the scene. Investigators searched for shell casings and are using facial recognition to identify the suspect. This all started much earlier in the day. Federal sources tell Fox they had a criminal warrant to get onto the properties based on evidence illegal aliens were being harbored there. The properties are believed to be tied to a company called Glass House Brands, which has a state license to grow marijuana. And in
cheers and welcome to Rusty Rivers over on Rumble. Good seeing you, good seeing you, good having you by. Let's see what we got here.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys.
San Francisco earlier this week, a group of protesters were seen in an intense
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop that there. Well,
clash with immigration agents outside of a
minimize
courthouse.
it, then pause it. Okay. In response, Trump said he directed Kristi Noem and Tom Homan to instruct ICE, DHS, and other law enforcement on the receiving end of thrown rocks, bricks, or any other form of assault to stop their car and arrest these slime balls using whatever means necessary to do so. I'm giving total authorization for ICE to protect itself like they protect the public, he wrote. I never want to see a car-carrying law enforcement officer attacked again. Authorization immediately granted for arrest and incarceration. Thank you for your attention on this matter. The United Farm Workers said one worker died from his injuries. This man was not in and had not been in the CPB or ICE custody. Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin told Fox News, although he was not being pursued by law enforcement, this individual climbed up to the roof of a greenhouse and fell 30 feet. Fuck around and find out moment. CPB immediately called medevac to the scene to get him care as quickly as possible. Oh my, let's see. All right, so man, I didn't mean for this to be Fox News back to back, but right after this happened, there's something I want to talk to you folks about. Right after this happened, then this news story broke about the farm. Newsom donors cannabis farm under a federal investigation for child labor violations. So the Glass House Farms facility we saw in that previous news story had 9 unaccompanied children rescued as protesters clashed with authorities. They've donated thousands to Democrats in California. The co-founder, president, and board director, Graham Farrar, who self-identifies in social media as residing in Santa Barbara, has made numerous political donations to Democrat Central Committee's Federal Political Action Committee and Representative Salud Carbajal of California, according to FEC records. According to California public campaign finance records, he also donated $10,000 to Gavin Newsom in 2018, and his most recent political donation was to Assemblymember Greg Hart in July 2023. Customs and Border Protection Commissioner Rodney Scott tweeted that the farm is now under investigation for child labor violations, and that the DHS told Fox on Friday that 9 unaccompanied children in the U.S. illegally were rescued. So glad our law enforcement could rescue another child, said Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin. Glass House Brands said in a statement that they complied with federal warrants issued. Yesterday, Glass House Brands received immigration and naturalization warrants. As per the law, we verified they were valid and complied. Workers were detained and we were assisting to provide legal representation, the company tweeted. Glass House has never knowingly violated applicable hiring practice and does not and has never employed minors. We do not expect this to affect operations moving forward. We will provide details when applicable. Know that there are lots of questions. We have a lot of them too. As we get more information, we will update. Our team is continually on site, and we're focused on taking care of our people and our plants, Farrar posted to X. Farrar's X feed also shows him retweeting Republicans such as Matt Gaetz in support of cannabis policy reforms. In response to being asked about campaign donations, Newsom's political advisor Lindsay Cobia, Rusty Rivers, Newsom would play a good Dracula? Fuck yeah. Lindsay Cobia, who was deputy campaign manager when Newsom received the donation, told Fox in a statement, "It's rich for Fox and Trump administration to point to campaign donations to Democrats." Well, I don't think it was the Trump administration who called this out. I could be wrong. When in fact the CEO is a Trump supporter who donated to the governor's recall and given more to Republicans than Democrats. Newsom posted the same message on X and included an Instagram photo of Kyle Kazan and Nancy Mace. And so I was about to say kind of the same thing. Like, it doesn't surprise me that the owner of a cannabis farm donated to Gavin Newsom or to Democrats, because Democrats have been at the forefront of the marijuana legalization efforts. And I'm not necessarily going to give Newsom shit because someone else gave him money, right? Unless they gave him money specifically for a certain kickback and you could prove it. But like, politicians can't necessarily control who donates to their campaign. And I have always shit talked the media, like when they've went after like Ron Paul for like, oh, you accept donations from prostitutes. Well, yeah, because prostitution was legal in certain areas of Nevada, and yes, those women wanted to donate to the Ron Paul campaign. On a donation level, a review of public records found that Kazan has donated to various Democrats in recent years. Yeah, I don't care about any of this. Like, tell me more about the 9 children. Like, I care more about the 9 fucking children and what Glasshouse Farms had to say about the 9 children. I don't need to know about the donation history of everyone involved. Military helicopters, or people were seen confronting agents who used tear gas and smoke bombs. Federal personnel used gas to push back protesters. Military helicopters were also seen flying low over the fields, generally used to flush out people hiding. Quote, "It's becoming increasingly apparent that actions taken by ICE are bold and aggressive, demonstrating insensitivity toward the direct impact on our community," Louise MacArthur, mayor of Oxnard, said in a social media post. "These actions are causing unnecessary distress and harm. I remain committed to working alongside our AG and the governor's office to explore potential legal avenues to address these activities." I mean, good luck. I mean, we've already had the federal courts and Supreme Court say that Trump has the right to do this. that Homan essentially has the right to do this on American soil. When the governor was asked his thoughts on the footage of somebody firing a gun, Newsom replied, "Of course I condemn any assault on law enforcement, you shit poster," talking to libs of TikTok. Now due January 6th. As if people haven't fucking... See, it's this one side or the other. It's the fucking whataboutism. Yeah, we call out the fucking people who were violent on Jan 6. The problem is you fucking left-wingers claim that the entire fucking 150,000 people that were there, however many were there, millions probably, that they were all being violent, or somehow they're all responsible for a few instances of violence. California prosecutes child exploiters and traffickers. Trump tear gasses children, rips them from their parents, and deports farm workers. Priorities, Newsom tweeted. I mean, is that true? I mean, we saw other people this week. I didn't do it on my show, but other people have live streamed. There's this viral video going around of normally packed LA highways that are now empty. I mean, if California prosecutes child exploiters and traffickers, you'd think, you'd think we would have noticed some of that shit before now. All right, so now to get into the reason I titled my stream the way I did, in sort of the last of the Trump-related topics of the day. As Trump had an opinion on the ability of the United States government to revoke the citizenship of Rosie O'Donnell. Trump floats stripping Rosie O'Donnell of citizenship, quote, threat to humanity. Trump raged Saturday that he's giving serious consideration to taking away Rosie O'Donnell's U.S. citizenship, arguing that she's a threat to humanity because of the fact that Rosie O'Donnell is not in the best interest of our great country. I am giving serious consideration to taking away her citizenship, Trump wrote on Truth Social. O'Donnell moved overseas to the Dublin suburb of Howth in Ireland with her 12-year-old child in January in response to Trump's victory against Harris. In March, O'Donnell revealed that she and her child, who's non-binary and autistic, imagine that, were in the process of obtaining Irish citizenship following their transatlantic move. It's unclear what legal basis Trump could use to strip O'Donnell, who was born on Long Island, of her American citizenship. Americans cannot use their U.S. citizenship status even if they obtain citizenship elsewhere. She's a threat to humanity. She should remain in the wonderful country of Ireland if they want her. God bless America, Trump said. A feud between O'Donnell and Trump dates back nearly 2 decades to when the actress ridiculed him on The View in 2006. At the time, O'Donnell chastised Trump for acting like a moral authority when controversy broke out over the winner of that year's Miss USA pageant. Trump hit back saying that she was disgusting inside and out. Take a look at her. She's a slob. She talks like a truck driver. Rusty Rivers. Oh, no. Stripping Rosie. Oh, we don't want to see Rosie stripping. Oh, no. In August 2015, during the Republican primary debate, Megyn Kelly asked Trump about his use of language like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals to describe women, and he retorted only Rosie O'Donnell. In April, O'Donnell accused Trump of paying no mind to any laws that the founders stood by and that our country stands for, that's a beacon of shining light and freedom for the rest of the world, in an interview on CNN. It's as bad as they promised and even a little bit worse, and it's been heartbreaking and personally very, very sad to watch. O'Donnell told News Nation Chris Cuomo in June that she believes she could be a better mother in Ireland than in the U.S. under Trump. Coming to Ireland was a totally way to take care of myself and my non-binary autistic child who's going to need services and help and counseling and all the things he's threatening to cut in this horrible plan of the big, beautiful bill. O'Donnell found coping with Trump's first term while living in the States very difficult, she said. I was very depressed. I was overeating. I was over drinking, she told Cuomo. So there you have it. Rosie O'Donnell, threat to humanity. More so than COVID. More so than Jeffrey Epstein, apparently. Because that's really what we should be focusing on. Are we still talking about Epstein? Are we still talking about that creep? No, we should still be talking about Rosie fucking O'Donnell. Fucking goddamn. I'm sorry. I don't mean to scream, but fuck, why are we still talking about Rosie fucking O'Donnell? She's gone. She's gone. She's not even on TV much anymore. Like, you don't have to watch another fucking, like, we are safe from another Rosie O'Donnell Flintstones movie. What? This man literally said, are we still talking about this Epstein creep? And then less than a week later, starts ranting on Rosie O'Donnell. I said it before and I'll say it again. The right wing is just as much fucking clown world as the fucking left wing sometimes. This is fucking madness. Oh, I'm not going to spend much time on this. I'm just going to kind of browse this because I basically I saw this headline and I'm kind of curious as to what it is. It wasn't necessarily something I wanted to cover on the show, but I figured this would be a good reason to read the article here. Mayor Eric Adams' lawsuit over $3.4 million in campaign funds that were withheld was tossed, but here's why it could help his re-election bid, by Craig McCarthy of the New York Post here. Federal judge tossed Adams' lawsuit seeking to overrule the Campaign Finance Board's decision to withhold millions of dollars of matching funds. Although a defeat legally, the ruling could prove to be a boon for His Honor's independent bid for mayor, with the Brooklyn judge slapping down the board's ability to reference his now dismissed historic indictment as a cause for withholding funds. The board's attempt to shift the burden of proving his innocence to Mayor Adams is inappropriate and goes against the centuries-old American legal principle that presumes the criminal defendant's innocence until proven guilty. Okay, so they said they don't have to give him the money back. But the reason they're withholding the money is bunk. I don't get it. Adams was denied the matching funds while battling a criminal indictment for accepting bribes. The case was tossed after months of Adams cozying up to Trump and those in his outfit. Judge Dale Ho noted in his dismissal that he did not rule on the merits of the case. The CFB has continued to cite the indictment as part of the basis for withholding funds, saying there was reason to believe wrongdoing had occurred. However, the latest ruling limits the board from denying funds without proof of guilt as unconstitutional. The ruling Friday now only requires that the campaign properly respond to the board for inquiries and get the paperwork in on time to get matching funds. We're grateful for the court's thoughtful decision and knew along that CFB's reason to know standard as applied here was arbitrary and unconstitutional, said Adams' campaign chair Frank Caroni. We're confident now that Adams will receive matching funds and therefore be in a position to bring his record of success for working class New Yorkers to the general election November 4th. So they're going to vote again July 15th to give him the money. Rescuer says, Cash, Dan, Donald, and even Blondie, well played. Never before has the Epstein shit reached this amount of brain-dead brains. Yeah, I almost have to thank them for being such retards about it. You almost wonder, like, is this fourth dimensional chess? I don't think it is. But you almost have to wonder, like, this smells like what they used to say was fourth dimensional chess. Like, we're not going to release the Epstein thing because we want when we finally do release it, we want everyone talking about it. And so get everyone talking about it first, then release it. No, I don't think that's what's happening. But it would be interesting if that was what was happening. So speaking of New York, we're coming up on the 24th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks here in a couple months. And they're, we blamed a lot of it on Osama bin Laden. We blamed a lot of it on the Taliban. We sent our troops into Afghanistan. We sent the SEAL Team 6 into Pakistan and killed Osama, allegedly, and dumped his body over a boat, allegedly. But a lot of people don't remember that there was actually someone who was arrested and held liable for 9/11 here in the United States. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, 9/11 mastermind, has requested a plea deal and the U.S. courts have rejected it. This is from BBC's Ali Abbas Ahmadi, probably related. Just kidding. A divided federal appeals court has thrown out a plea agreement that would have 9/11 mastermind Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and other co-defendants to plead guilty in exchange for avoiding the death penalty. Judges in D.C. have rejected the agreement. Now, wait a minute. Have they not been to trial? Have they just been in Guantanamo this whole time without charges? Shout out to the global war on terror and the ability for 24 years of presidents just not to give you a trial. Which would have given Mohammed and other defendants a life sentence without parole in a 2-1 decision. Mohammed is accused of organizing, directing the 9/11 attacks in the U.S., which hijacked planes. He was captured in 2003 and being held in Guantanamo. Under the deal, families of 9/11 victims would have been allowed to pose questions to Mohammed, who would be required to answer their questions fully and truthfully. Relatives of the victims were split on the deal, according to BBC's partner CBS News. What happens to a lefty brain when Trump says, who cares about that? I mean, yeah. What happens to my brain when Trump says, who cares about that? Shit. I mean, people are free to care about what they care about. Those who objected felt a trial was the best path to justice and to uncovering more information about the 9/11 attacks. Supporters saw it as the best hope for getting some answers and finally closing the case. The plea deal was negotiated over 2 years and approved by military prosecutors and a Pentagon official in Guantanamo. Pre-trial hearings have been going on for more than a decade, complicated by questions over whether torture Mohammed and other defendants faced taints the evidence. Whether the torture that Mohammed and other defendants... Learn how to fucking write, you British fuckers. Following his arrest in Pakistan in 2003, Mohammed spent 3 years at secret CIA prison sites known as black sites, where he was subjected to simulated drowning or waterboarding 183 times. Among other so-called advanced interrogation techniques that included sleep deprivation and forced nudity. In July of last year, the Biden administration announced it struck deals with Mohammed and other co-defendants. Secretary at the time, Lloyd Austin, overruled that agreement 2 days later, saying he was the sole authority to enter an agreement. Military court ruled against Austin's effort in December, which put the agreement to avoid the death penalty back on the table. On Friday, the appeals court tossed the deal, saying Austin was acting within his authority in December of 2024. Having properly assumed the convening authority, the Secretary of Defense determined that the families of the American public deserve the opportunity to see military commission trials carried out. The Secretary acted within the bounds of his legal authority, and we declined to second-guess his judgment. Judges Patricia Millett and Naomi Rao wrote as reported by the AP. Judge Robert Wilkins disagreed, saying the government has not come within a country mile of proving clearly and indisputably that the military judge had erred. So there you have it. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed almost got out of the death penalty, and the court said, nay, nay, sir. All right. So this weekend we've had a death in the political realm as David Gergen, advisor to 4 U.S. presidents across several decades, has died at 83. This is him here. David Gergen worked for 4 presidents, including Nixon, Ford, Reagan, and Bill Clinton, before becoming a political TV pundit. Died at 83 in a retirement home in Massachusetts on July 10th. He'd been suffering from Lewy body dementia. Those who knew and admired Gergen took to X, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, who gives a fuck? The thing I remember David Gergen most from. Now, granted, I've seen him on several news programs, and I've seen him give some speeches and stuff on some of the Clinton events on TV. But the thing I remember the most about David Gergen is when Alex Jones asked him about Bohemian Grove. Have you folks seen this video?
Oh, what about the Republicans were criticizing you? Oh, what about Bohemian Grove? And then you countered them by saying, "Hey, I don't run around in the woods naked." What did that mean?
I don't know what quote you're referring to. I'm not aware of any quote like that. Listen, I am a happy member of the Bohemian Grove. I like the folks who come there, and it's really inappropriate for me to talk about the group beyond that. Thank you.
Have you been there for the ceremony with the cremation of care?
Frankly, I don't think that's something I need to talk to you about.
Well, I'm Alex Jones, and I snuck in there in 2000. I'm the guy that blew it wide open and got the video. It's been on national TV.
Well, I disrespect you for that.
You do?
I do.
But it's a lot of big public officials going in there. Don't we deserve to know?
You took I don't know anything about you, and I don't know anything about your film. But if you go in there with an understanding, you violated that understanding by releasing that film, and I don't respect you for that.
Really? But we have public officials.
I'm sorry. You took an understanding when you went in there that you would not do that film, and did you have an understanding when you went in there?
No.
Did you crash it?
Yes.
Yeah, and it has no trespassing signs there too, doesn't it?
No, that's what I was after.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
just walked in.
I'm sorry, sir. I've been there before. I know what the circumstances are, and I'm sorry you violated the understandings. That was not a gentlemanly thing to do.
But what about the ritual? Is the ritual genuinely?
I don't owe you this comment.
I know.
This is what's called ambush journalism, and I disrespect you for that as well. So thank you and goodbye.
The ritual?
So David Gergen, I just have to say, may Moloch take your soul. May Moloch take your soul. Again, I don't like to mock the dead, but it is what it is. Hopefully you're where you want to be now. That's all, Oh my Lord, we still have a few news stories, and we still have the Love Don't Judge to do. Oh my God, I have so much shit to do, and I have to be somewhere here shortly. I'm going to try to burn through these as quick as possible. Baltimore reels after 27 hospitalized in a mass overdose. Morning after a mass overdose in Baltimore's Penn North neighborhood, the Pennsylvania Avenue branch of the Free Library had become a central point for the city's outreach team. Community advocates set up tents to hand out naloxone. You trying to get Narcan and all that? Yeah. You got any food? Nelson, the overdose response director for Penn North Recovery Center, had run out of snacks by that point, but had plenty of other items to hand out. He packed Narcan, fentanyl test strips, and brochures in a bag. At least 27 people were taken to hospitals for overdose treatment as of Friday morning. They were taken to hospitals across the city. 7 are in critical condition. 15 are in serious but not life-threatening. There have been no fatalities so far. Rusty River says bad batch. Yeah. And folks, if you're gonna get into a bad batch, I'm sorry, I don't empathize that much. Like, if you've had to take Narcan more than twice, like, just don't take it next time. First responders flooded the Penn North neighborhood shortly after 9 a.m. to find more than a dozen people in need of aid. The health department closed half a block to treat people outside the library, which remained closed on Friday. So wait, was somebody sprinkling it around the library? Were these innocent people? City and community workers scoured the neighborhood with boxes of naloxone and fentanyl test strips. Mayor's office is coordinating as workers continued to canvass West Baltimore to hand out supplies. Dozens of people were milling about near Penn North Station Friday morning, still reeling from the events of the day before. It gives you something to think about. When his sister saw the news, she called him up to check, and he didn't take anything. He said he was lucky he didn't. It was a wake-up call. I need to stop. Yes, you do. Like many other community members and advocates, Johnson said he heard the overdoses were caused by testers. People don't have to pay for testers, which were samples of new batches of drugs or throwouts. So yeah, your bad batch. Boom. Officials said they're still investigating what led to the ODs. First and most important thing you have to be in order to get treatment is be alive, Scott said during the press conference. It's Mayor Brandon Scott, by the way. That's why we're focusing always on keeping people alive, providing the opportunity to get the services they need. The mass overdose came just one day after the city council held its first long-awaited hearing on the city's drug crisis. Councilwoman Felicia Porter, who called the hearings, said that Thursday's ODs were devastating. It underscores the urgency we have and continue to have to promote harm reduction approaches in Baltimore, Porter said. Oh my Lord. And to think, like, I've been half considering a trip to DC and Baltimore. Mostly because I want to go to the Six Flags up there before it closes permanently. All right. I'm going to just flash the next two headlines at you folks so that you can go check out these stories on your own, because I'm going to try to bounce on over to a couple viral videos and then into the Love Don't Judge. So we've got a New England serial killer fears. So there's fears of a serial killer in New England after a paddle boarder was discovered dead in Maine. Sounds like an interesting story. I'm probably going to dig into it later. But yeah, we just kind of ran out of time on the show today. But here's something you folks you should be thinking about. The U.S. Army. This is from the Army Times. The U.S. Army is testing robotic coyotes to defend fighter jets. And look, you see coyotes on these remote control or radio controlled ATV looking things. Rusty Irv says the aquarium in Baltimore is still worthy of a visit. Not if people are fucking on fentanyl, man. I see enough of the fucking the tranked out people here in the Midwest, man. Robots versus birds may sound like a low budget sci-fi movie franchise, but it's a savvy solution that has threatened the military's most sophisticated aviation platforms at their home station. So unmanned ground vehicles that can scare off birds and other problematic wildlife that could do damage to the aircraft. Okay. So there you have it. You got a bunch of birds threatening your fighter jets? Just run the robo dogs around the field and run them off. Kind of neat. All right. So this I've seen this video a couple times on my feed, and I have mixed emotions. This next video, I have mixed emotions. I'm going to warn the audience, let her cook. Let her cook. Because the way she looks, the way she talks, and the first few things she says is gonna piss you off. But let this chick cook. Let her cook. Ready?
Y'all gonna hate me for saying this, but sometimes it's illogical for people on government assistance to get a job.
Okay, I don't agree with that, but let her cook.
Just because somebody is able-bodied does not mean that they're able to work.
Bullshit.
Because you have to look at it from a stance of survival. If I'm getting Section 8, if I'm getting food stamps, if I'm getting all my needs met on government assistance, what do I stand to lose if I go get a job and they start cutting my aid? Now I'm homeless. Now I can't afford to pay my bills. Now my kids don't have food, because once you start working, they will start cutting your benefits. And the issue with the system is they don't teach people how to survive without the benefits.
Okay, so now here's the turn. Here's the turn. I fucking completely wanted to scream at this chick until now. Until now. She's not wrong. She's not wrong. Now, she's wrong about the solution, but like, she's diagnosed the problems with our welfare system. She's admitting it. She's admitting it. And that's a start.
The system is designed to keep people on these benefits and dependent on the government. What we need is a revamp of the system where we focus on job readiness, where we focus on teaching people budgeting.
Okay, but here's a radical idea. I mean, we could also be teaching each other these things. Or maybe you could be looking up some of these things on YouTube and TikTok instead of looking up whatever, bullshit you and the people you hang out with usually look up on YouTube and TikTok.
We focus on teaching people how to spend their money, how to live,
And don't get me wrong, there are people on YouTube and TikTok who will tell you how to invest your money, who will talk about, the insurance industry and how to do better. Some of the problem is you're also going to have scammers saying, oh, yeah, go to this website to get a better quote on your auto insurance. Yeah, it's kind of hard to sift through some of that, but if you come together, man, have conversations as a community.
To thrive. Right now, all we're doing is creating a generational poverty cycle.
She's not wrong.
And I know a lot of y'all are going to get mad and going to get triggered and not listen to what I'm saying. But if you were in a position where you're a single mother with children, right now, you don't have to worry about where your kids are going to live. You don't have to worry about where your kids are going to eat. Would you risk that for the sake of saying you're employed? Y'all going to...
Okay. Yeah, you should. I mean, if you're not a piece of shit, you should. But that's just it. You're right. To be a mother with children, that sometimes is a tall order to say, oh yeah, just give up all the freebies and then go work your fucking ass off and never see your kids. Yeah, if you don't have to, if they're fucking giving it away, fucking take it. I don't agree as a taxpayer. I hate it. But we need to change the system, and she's right. We need to change it from the ground up. We need to instill life skills in these people. And we need to do it from the time they're teenagers, before they become teen pregnancies, whatever. And you still got a mustache and a nose ring. Thank you, TikTok. Yes, Rusty. Fuck. All right. So now we're going to jump over to the UK, where we have, once again, the just like the last video was living proof that conservatives are right about the welfare system. Now we're going to go over to the UK to prove that, women in the police department are a good idea.
Okay, all right. Calm down, you guys. Okay. You all right? Sit down for me. 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. All right, okay. I'm here, right? It's 5 deep breaths.
Look at that. Look at that. She gets punched in the face by a criminal. And she starts going hysterical, bleeding from the nose and the mouth. And the first actual words, other than the screeching, the first actual words that come out of her mouth is being worried about her fucking appearance. Being worried about her fucking appearance.
You're fine. You deal with it.
He effed up my nose.
Okay, all right.
There you have it. There you have it. Oh, I become more and more like Cookie every day. Shut up, I can cook. If you're watching this later on YouTube, leave me a comment. All right, let's do this. We're gonna do the Love Does Admonish segment here on Miles Culture Play. We love to watch, love don't judge over on YouTube and determine whether or not these degenerate relationships deserve a little bit of criticism. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Cyrene Pickle on Rumble. Cheers and welcome. It won't let me bring up your comment for some reason, but it does show it right here. There it goes. There it goes. All right. Just a little bit of lag on the old Rumble studio as always. All right. So let's do this. Love Don't Judge. We identify as cat and dog.
Hi, my name's Kay.
Hi, I'm G. My partner feels more like
K and G. And it's not the letter K, it's K-A-I, but she is the letter G. So here we go. We got a cat with a mustache.
a dog, and I feel more like a cat.
Oh, no, a dog with a
Today,
mustache.
I'm gonna try drinking from a dog bowl for the first time.
Okay, come get your water. You look so cute. I feel like we've really been...
Hey, we do got Cookie here. Cheers and welcome. Shut Up, I Can Cook over on YouTube. Oh, excuse me. All right. Well, then my numbers on YouTube up there in the corner must be wrong because it's only showing one viewer, and I know I got YouTube chat open. So let's go. Let's do it.
But the people are retarded.
All right.
Judged throughout our relationship on a lot of different things, the way we live our life.
We have like...
Oh, Cyrene Pickle. Oh no, you're gonna get me ranting. This, for one, this isn't cosplay. This is kink. For two, cosplay isn't cosplay. Cosplay is also kink. I mean, I've been thinking a lot about this week because actually, the reason. Cookie says, just got here, missed what the screeching bloody chick was doing. She's a police officer. She was a police officer in the UK. And yeah, she was crying that her face got fucked up by a criminal. Anyway, so yeah, cosplay taken to the extreme. Let me just take just a second because yeah, the event I'm going to be going to later, I didn't realize when I bought the tickets that there are going to be cosplayers there. And I'm kind of upset because I avoid the Comic-Cons and the furry shit because I'm a nerd, right? I love comic books. I like old Star Wars, I like nerdy shit. I like nerd culture shit. But somewhere in the whole fucking Big Bang Theory, cultural appropriation, nerddom is cool now, Lord of the Rings, Kevin Smith bullshit, cosplay kind of became this thing. And it's different, like for the 501st guys who started wearing stormtrooper outfits. It's a little different if you're making a kind of a cool craft out of it, but like 90% of cosplay now is attention whoring. It's one-upsmanship. Rusty Hurst says, Miles going to a pride parade. No. No, thank you. Anyway, let's get back into these two weirdos.
Had death wishes against us.
You know, people think we live a wild life, but it's just normal to me.
My sister
It's
Mia
just normal to me.
sent us a letter to tell us how she feels about our relationship.
Oh my
When
God.
I learned of it, my eyes grew big and I fell silent, shocked and alarmed. I'm Kay and this is my partner G. People judge my relationship because I feel more like a dog and G feels more like a cat.
We met online.
But it's still
that was in
interspecies.
2008 during our senior year of high school.
These ones or these ones?
The pink ones.
Real
Pretty
cats
good.
can't change
Very
their ears,
leather
bitch.
Well, I love the furry ones, you know.
Well, you made them both. So.
I made them both.
G sent me a friend request and I liked some pictures and was like, I like your hat. So I guess I said something first. I started socially transitioning when I was 21.
Transitioning.
Like
He's
changing my
calling it
name
transitioning.
and asking people to call me by different pronouns.
Pronouns.
But physically, I started transitioning in 2018.
What pronouns? Tell me
Ready
the
for some
pronouns.
water?
Is it pup
Today,
self?
I'm gonna try drinking from a dog bowl for the first time.
Okay, come get your water.
Oh, come on. Oh.
That was really fun. I definitely felt very doggy. I saw my reflection in the bowl, like it was unexpected. Definitely made me feel more in touch with my dog identity.
Why?
Definitely gonna be using the bowl again.
You look so cute. Cute pup.
Like
the first year we were together, we bought a collar and leash. I guess that was kind of the first time that I started to feel sort of like a dog. I love taking photos of each other and together. It really just helps me like be grounded in my element.
I feel like I've always kind of been a cat. From a young age, I had a little cat who like basically grew up with me. Certain things about me are just very cat.
Oh, I had a cat, so that means I'm a cat now.
And also cats, and I definitely felt more of an affinity with the dogs. Once we got together, it came out of me more because certain qualities like the way I feel devoted or like want to like be in service or like just want to be near each other. And
I want to puke as well, Cookie.
Specifically, I
I'm
identify as a
committed.
black cat because a black cat is
Black
like
cat.
very
Well, you're black.
misunderstood in society.
I'll bark or sort of like growl or whimper, and G can sort of understand like what I'm meaning in those moments.
What?
I do wear a
What?
collar often. This collar
She
in
can
particular is an
understand
actual
my dog
collar.
growl.
Mine says K, my puppy love forever, and then the back says if lost, return to G.
And mine just says, G, forever by your side, my love.
My sister Mia has sent us a letter.
Wait, the cat doesn't get a return to K? The cat doesn't get a return to K. So if the cat gets lost, yeah. Oh well, we'll just find another cat.
To tell us how she feels about our relationship.
Disposable
And
cat.
I'm nervous to read it. When we first got together, she was pretty hesitant. Yeah, I wasn't like full on board support. I'm not really sure how she feels about the cat and dog personas. It's not something I talked to her about.
Did he
K
say
and G,
persona?
at the
Did he
beginning of
say
your
persona
relationship,
or persona? I don't want to go back. I can't go back.
I remember you two being young and oh so in love.
yippee-yo,
K.
yippee-yay.
Our mother said it was just a phase. And even though I saw you happy, I think I believed that maybe you're dating G and moving out of state to be with G as soon as you both
Cats don't
graduated high
have
school
tattoos.
was just a symptom of your rebel ways. With you, I often process things in terms of trying to protect you, doing whatever I can to help you be safe and well. G, it took a while for us to meet, but when we finally did, it didn't take long for me to discover that Kay had found someone special. I don't know if you know this, but I was suspicious of your introversion at first. Over time, I've learned that is part of your beauty and part of your reflective, observant, and
Well,
sensitive
cats are
ways.
introverted.
Although I have an unwavering lens of love and support for y'all, I'd be lying if I didn't say that some of your changes have thrown me for a loop.
Does she
We
shit in the
started
fucking litter box?
making adult films 12 years ago. Sometimes
Oh, look.
seeing
Oh, and they're
in
on
these personas
OnlyFans. They're
is
making
included in our
porno.
adult content,
Imagine
but
that.
Not always. When you started producing adult content, I had mixed feelings. Nevertheless, it has been interesting to see
Still,
how that
those
side
are-
of your life
oh,
has evolved through your films, which I have not seen.
Yes, go get spayed and neutered. Get spayed and neutered, please.
But I'm proud of y'all for producing. When I learned of it, my eyes grew big and I felt
Cheers and welcome to
silent,
Bulldozer.
shocked, and alarmed. while it doesn't ever arise in my daily conversation, I'd likely feel a
Thank
bit
you for
awkward
that,
if it
Serene
did.
Pickle. Yes, these people
I tend
need
to click away if I
be-
see any risque imagery or footage on your socials, and that is pretty much my philosophy.
I feel like we've really been judged throughout our relationship on a lot of different things, the way we live
Imagine
our life.
that.
You know, people think we live a wild life, but it's just normal to me.
People have judged us for just wanting to...
No, I don't think you live a wild life. Because a wild life, like you'd be out in the jungle with the big cats and shit. No, you're doing this shit safely from your own bedroom with a bed, right? You're not sleeping in a fucking cat carrier. Like, you're not even committed to the bit. You got tattoos and shit.
show something that people think should be private in the
Oh,
public.
good luck on the
I feel like
concrete
a lot of
patio,
people have
bulldozer.
said things like, why do you want to put that out there? Aren't you ashamed?
By the way, big shout out to Bulldozer. Bill, leave a link to your channel in the chat. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Leave a link to your channel in the chat if you could, my friend. And then let's do...
What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people?
All right. Oh. I always
To
click
show
the wrong
yourself
one.
in this way.
We do have like people who will report our posts and who will be like constantly like hating on us, but most of our network is like very supportive of us.
We have like had death wishes against us. That doesn't necessarily feel as much about like the judgment.
Yeah, so big shout out to Bill Dozer. He does his Dozer Den show. I can't recommend it enough. Check out Bill Dozer 74 and the Dozer Den. He's about to post his link in the chat. Feel free to go jump over there and give him a follow, and then jump right back. And
But
we're going to be
there
wrapping
was a
up
level
this
of
one.
just like an intense hatred toward
Oh,
us.
congratulations. Hell yeah.
That was unwarranted. Being judged by others has definitely motivated me
Motivated
to just
you.
be more of myself and put myself out there. And like for every hater, we have like more than one person showing us support. When people say hateful things about something they don't understand, it is an expression of their own ignorance and fear.
Ignorant.
We're gonna
yes,
go to the
because I'm
local dog
ignorant.
park today to
You're
run
not
around.
committing the bit. That makes me
When
ignorant.
we've gone for walks, and that's like without the ears, without the mask, just the leash, we've definitely gotten people staring at us. I remember one time a family with a baby in a stroller like shielded their child's eyes from looking at us.
People will ask like, can I get on the leash too? People will honk their horns.
We usually just laugh.
Keep your
Regarding the
fucking
cat dog,
fetish shit out of public. It's fucking public. No shit they were shielding their child from you because it's fetish bullshit. Keep your fetish bullshit out of the public. God damn it.
persona, that is probably the least processed thing for me. I don't think I really understand it. I don't know much about it and tend not to want to see anything that would suggest sexy time with y'all. As two creatives, I see your expression of yourselves and your love as part of the long unfolding of your relationship. It is unique, like you both are, and as long as you are happy and feeling whole in who you are, I am happy for you.
Sure.
Your resilience, forgiving natures, and commitment to caring for one another while honoring yourselves leads me to believe you both will
Okay, so earlier you were talking about how, you growl, right? And that she understood you. But yet you're reading fucking English. You're not committing to the bit.
stay together as long as you both desire, which I'm under the impression is for the long haul. With love, Mia.
Yay, good job.
It definitely made me feel emotional. It's really touching to like receive these words. It's beautiful to reflect on like not just how like much we've grown, but like how much also she...
If you have a penis and you use the words, it's beautiful to reflect. And you're not talking about bullets. Like, just get spayed and neutered already. Get neutered.
She's grown.
I feel like really like touched, you know, she's so sweet and like it just felt good to be like seen and just like held.
I think our relationship works because we really complement each other. What I love most about G is how G is just creative and passionate, there's a certain level of like confidence and just
We really compliment each other because, yeah, being a cat and a dog having interspecies sex on the internet for random strangers, random human beings to watch is so empowering.
determination
These fucking
that I just really respect.
What I love about Kay is I can be myself with you, that you also just make other people feel comfortable to be themselves.
Okay, but when you're playing fetch, right, you're being a human, not a cat, throwing the thing for the dog in him. Like, when he's being the dog and you're being the human, you don't get to be the cat.
I think that that's a superpower for sure. And you're a healer. You help to heal me. You help to heal the world. It's so needed.
I mean, yeah, Rusty Rivers, I would agree with you, except like I've already said, I don't want to see the kink shit in public. So maybe in a fenced in backyard with a privacy fence.
What I would say to people who judge our relationship is focus on your own self. If you're gonna focus on me, then that's fine. You can be a hater.
Admit my
Like,
degeneracy.
I welcome it, you know, but all I'm doing is
And I don't
spreading
do my
love.
degeneracy in
And
public.
I would just hope that you would do the same. Like, just try to spread love instead of being hateful. And just be yourself, because that's really it.
Be yourself. Be yourself. She says fucking be yourself while wearing fucking ears of another species. Be yourself. Oh my fucking God. Look, again, usually on these, I'm like, okay, there's some aspect of it that's redeemable, and at least they're happy and outlast the haters and do what you got to do. But every aspect of this is literally lying to themselves and fucking 1984 language of the exact opposite of the words they're using. Like, no, just fucking no. Like, if you're gonna be an animal, dude. You know, kind of like Rusty said. You know, shit in the yard. You know, why are you wearing clothes? Right? You got these spiked collars. No, fuck that. Go get a fucking shitty collar like some like a Paris Hilton would put on her Chihuahua or something. Like, if you're gonna live this kind of a dog lifestyle, then get straight up subservient with it. All right, folks. Well, I got to get going because I've got a big night ahead of me. And again, apologies for not going live at my normal time. You can catch me this Wednesday, 6 p.m. Central, same bat time, same bat channel as usual. So 6 p.m. Central, 7 Eastern, every Wednesday and Saturday except for tonight. And big thank you to Rusty Rivers, Bill Dozer, Third Railify, Mom's Mysteries and Mayhem, Serene Pickle, Shut Up I Can Cook. Thank you to everyone who showed up. So cheers to you folks. And a big cheers to everyone who's listening on the audio only. Or later on the on demand. So cheers to all of y'all out there. Thank you for stopping by. Big, big, big shout out to everyone. And again, I had Bill Dozer give his shout out. Yeah, Third Railify. If you can find him on here, he was here earlier in the chat. Go check out his channel as well. Fun times. All right. Bring this down. So, folks, down in the description are links to my social media and my other channels. Monday, I should be doing a gaming stream down on my gaming channel. Feel free to watch me as I continue my revenge tour on Baldur's Gate 3. I've been getting my ass kicked for a month straight on that thing, and I'm just now kicking ass back. And Yeah, I managed to get revenge on 3 of the groups of enemies that have killed me last week. So, going to continue the revenge tour this Monday, 5 p.m. Central, 6 Eastern. And yeah, I guess that's going to do it, folks. Come on in Wednesday, get your shout out and your toast, and join the chat. We're gonna have a good old time talking about whatever news happens between now and then. Till then, folks, let me go find a raid target. I know Cool Frog went live shortly before I did. Let's see who else we got. Dear Sarge is live. I think I'll have to. Well, I don't know. I've been raiding Sarge a lot lately. Who else do we got? Man, like everyone has reposted Sarge. Maybe I should raid Sarge. Shit. Yeah, I guess I'll raid Sarge. Fuck it. All right, so let me get Sarge in here as a raid target. And okay, so folks, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Outlast those haters. Don't get any on you, especially if it's kitty litter or dog kibble. Don't get any on you. And if you do, rub that shit in real good. I'll catch you next time on Miles Culture Plate. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Good night.